Hello everybody. Today I'll be doing a overview and tutorial of the application BitTorrent Sync, which is an ideal application for anybody that's trying to do their own personal cloud storage setup. Now you can install this on multiple devices, and we'll go through all that once we get to the website. And the first thing we want to do is open up our browser, go to the location of the website, which is bittorrent.com/sync. Link is down below, and the download is right under the picture. And they might change this over time, but at the current time, that's where it's located. As you can see, it is available on multiple devices. Some Netgear devices has it. It's available for BSD devices, Linux, multiple locations, instances, and you have it for mobile phones. That includes Android, iOS, Windows Phone, and a few others. And then we have it's also available for desktop, which is Windows and Mac. Those are the common one. Other than Linux. Now the ones we currently using currently on our Linux system. Now this is Linux Linux Mint, and it's one of the easier to use Linux. So we have some of the options available to us. I will be making a command only setup in the future for people that are trying to set this up on their Linux server. And the only difference is you'll be setting up the old configuration file, since you will not be able to use the web UI. In this tutorial, I'll be showing you how to set up the web UI instance. So let's go ahead and load what we need. Download, we have a tar.gz file downloaded in our default download location, which is going to be under your username by the name downloads. So can do is use the Explorer, which is provided on the desktop, to extract it, as I'm showing you here. Or we can, in this instance, we're going to be using the command line to extract everything. So what we're going to do is close this and go to the command line, and we are going to be using the tar command. First thing we're going to do is list where we are. So if I type in the ls command on my terminal, what's going to happen is going to list everything under my username. So I type in ls, I can see that download is currently right there. I type in cd downloads, that will take me to the download directory, which currently has the file, the folder I need, the zipped folder I need. So the tar.gz folder I need. So we type in the tar command. Once we get to that directory, we're going to use the tar-zxfv or zxvf. You can change those numbers either way, as long as all four of them are in there. Now you don't really need the v included. What the v would do is actually, is it the v or the l? Here is mine is showing you my current setup. Now I set mine in the etc, under the etc directory. I made a folder called bt sync under that directory. The reason I put mine under etc is due to the fact that that is root access only. So you need root password to delete or add anything in that location. So that's where I set my storage app. So now we go back to the downloads. And what we'll be doing is making a copy of that, making a directory actually where we're going to put that storage app. So if you're going to put yours under etc, you just do mkdir /etc/ the name of whatever you want to put there. So you could do bt sync, bt, whatever you want to put there, as long as it's not already taken, the name is not already taken. So I'm going to put the test one on the desktop. So what I'm going to do is type in mkdir /home /username /desktop, and then the name of the folder. In this case, I'm going to name it BTSync. And then we have that at the desktop. So once we go there, what we're going to do is cd command, and try to use the cd dash to go back. Now cd dash, we only go to previous locations that you were. It won't take you back instances. Now for Windows users, cd.dot usually does that, but in this case we have to go from the directory again. I believe there's a command for that, can't come to mind now, so we're just gonna go to the directory we want to go. So cd again /home username desktop, and when I said type in the list command, I can see the BTSync has been created in that location. Everything that is blue usually means it's a folder. Now I'll be creating a different version that only shows you how to set up all the configuration using the .com file, in which I'm going to show you how that one is created also. So when we open up our file explorer, we see that the BTSync is we can see everything here. Now what you can do the copy. This is the license. All it says is you are agreeing to everything if you're using the application. And from this folder, you can actually do a copy and paste, remove that folder, and then go to the folder you have created it and set that. Now, that's gonna be a problem if you're using the ETSync, because you will need root to open that folder. For LinuxMint, you can open a folder by using the right key and then right click, and then you see open in root, and then that was you type in your password. You can have access to making any changes. But in this case, we don't need to use any root since everything was saved on desktop. We don't need any of that, so we can make changes as we go. So the next thing we're going to do is make a copy of BTSync and put it in the storage app folder. So if you're using the etc, make sure you know that path, because that's where you'll be making this copy too. As for me, the test one is on the desktop, so I'm going to do cp, then the location of the app. Now I am currently on the desktop directory, so I have to type in the full path to the location since it's in the download. Now I can go to the downloads directory and then just type in the name of the folder and then copy it to the location, but we're gonna do this instead. Type in the full name of the path of the file, of the application file. So that's home username downloads, then BTSync, then I give a space, then the location, the output location, which is gonna be /home username desktop, and BTSync folder. So type in BTSync, then / the name of the app. You have to include this also. And if you do / and just leave / with an empty space, it will copy it and keep the original name. So now we go to the BTSync folder and we can see that the app has already been copied. So in order to use the command, we use the /. Now --help, which shows us everything that the app understands on the command line. So the first thing we want to do is dump a sample configuration file. So as highlighted, that's what we're going to need. We're going to do cd /BTSync, then we're going to do -- dump file. So we have /BTSync -- dump -sample -config, and then we're going to do >, which means output on the terminal. So we're going to output it the location to. So we're going to do a > sign and the name of the path where we want it. So since we're already in the same directory, we're just going to name it. So always remember the conf at the end. So .conf. .conf. The reason is that that's the file that's the language the program will speak. That's the only thing, that's the only way to understand it. So if you name it something else, while it might be able to dump it, it still has to be saved in .conf in order for the app to actually load it. So the next thing we want to do is do a sudo gedit. Then we're going to name, since we're already in the same directory, we're just going to do name the directory, name the file. So test.conf. So if we are not there, we have to highlight the whole thing. So everything highlighted. So you have to do a / the whole beginning and to the name of the file. So now we have the gedit edit open, and we have a sample file. Now in the sample file, one of the few things you have to take note is it's a sample file. It contains some codes that you're not going to need, and it has explanations to almost everything. So there are a few things that you might need to read up on in the manual. The manual is also provided by BitTorrent, and it's on their website. It's a PDF file, and you can download that also, and it explains a few of this stuff in details. And some of the ones you don't understand, you can ask below. I will try as best to put it into simpler words. As we're going, the web UI setup, we are going to have to delete most of the stuff. Do you have to delete it? No. Some of those are deactivated commands. You don't have to delete them, as I'm going to do. But one thing you have to take note is the / you see at some of the in front of some of the commands. It means deactivate this current command. So everything under those, or in front or under those commands, usually are empty. Now the listening port, I will tell you to remain set it to 0, so you can change device name and so forth. So as I delete everything on that side, I delete every one of the comments. So the comments are just explanations and also deactivated commands. So I deleted them. Now all that's left is the ones that are currently active. And here we have the device name and listen port, and then the storage path. The storage path contains all your app information. That's where your everything, the application will dump every information: sync folder, sync log, excuse me, settings data, and so and even PID file. In this case, we are going to set the PID to that location. And a few things I'm showing you here is that the command at the end of each one of those commands is important. The command means continue. So as the program reads, it sees the command, it continues. It sees the /, it ignores. So wherever the / are, it will ignore it. So if you have something set in front of anything that has the /, those things will be ignored. So you have to make sure you delete them. So in this case, we're going to set a PID file, PID file path. So I'm going to delete the / in front of that command so that we can set that. Now this PID file is important in sense that it makes sure you don't run multiple instances. So if you have a PID file settings, the program will look as it's running that device name. It will look for that instance, the current PID number, and if it adds something already running with that PID number, it will ignore it. Now if you don't have this set, it will run multiple instances of it. So as you can do PID of most of your application. At times multiples are running. One example is Chrome. You might even run multiple instances of Firefox and so forth. And this is very common in Linux. Linux usually are capable of running multiple instances of applications in the background without you knowing. So the first thing we're going to do is set a storage path. Like I said, storage path is where the app will dump everything. So mine is in the etc/bt sync, but for this testing, we are going to be using the directory we set up on the desktop. So that will be /. And now remember to put every path that you set on this configuration file. Make sure they are in quotation. So what we're going to do is set up the path. So dash / home / username / desktop, and then / BT sync. So that's my path. Yours might be different. So make sure that whatever path you set, or whatever directory you made for this app, that's what you put on that storage path. And then we're going to remove the comment and then activate the PID file command. So the PID file, we're going to set that to go straight to the storage path also. So I'm just going to copy, make the same exact path again, but end it with the name of PID file. In this instance, I'm going to name it boo.pid, boo.pid, boopy. So I'm going to do exactly the same thing again. Dash home dash username dash dex / desktop, then / BT sync / boo.pid. All right, so we have that set. We can remove the spaces. Do you have to? No. The program will just keep going down until it sees the next command, as long as you never close the bracket. So you have the bracket started on top and then brackets at the end that close the command. So those are the few things that the command the program will actually search for as it's reading the configuration file. So the next thing we want to make sure is the limits. So you can set up a limit on the download and the upload limit for the application. And the reason you might want to set this up is if you are a gamer and you need all your internet speed. You might want to set a limit on this due to the fact that this might be syncing heavy data depending on what you are using it for. So if you're syncing multiple devices and you have one server running and one of them is running multiple multiple file folder sync system, multiple folder syncs, you will have heavy workload on your network, and this will slow down your network drastically. That's if you have a lot. The current speed provided by most IP nowadays, ISPs nowadays is relatively okay to carry these loads. So you might not have that problem, except if you have a LAN party going on and each one of the computers connected to the internet and you have a bunch of people playing online. So you might have that problem. So you might want to set a limit, and remember this is in kilobits per second. So if you're not going to set one, just leave it to 0. Then the next thing we want to do, since we're going to be using the web UI, we are going to leave the section for the web UI alone. So what I'm going to do, so we have the web UI highlighted in this location. I'm going to leave that section, and everything under, I don't really need it. So what I'm going to do is remove everything that I have underneath this location. So I'm going to set up another video that shows you what how to set up this again without using a web UI. So you will delete the web UI and use everything on the bottom, so the storage path and everything. But here we're only going to use the web UI. So we're going to delete everything on the bottom, deactivate, set up the directory root. The directory root will open up immediately. The web UI open up when you try to add folder. The directory root is where the program with the web UI will start from. So you need to set this up, or else you will have nothing at times, and a few times depending on the permission that the application have, you might be able to set it will have all your folders show up on the web UI. But I have a problem where it won't show me anything. So my solution to the solution I was able to find with that was set up the directory root. So in this case, we just put this /home /username, then use /, then close it in quotation, then remember that comma again to continue. And then what we're going to do is set up the listening port. The default listening port for this application is 8888, so don't change it. If you're an advanced user and you've read the manual on setting up the listening port, and you know how to do forward listening port to different application on your machine, you can change that. But other than that, don't touch the 8888. Leave it to the default. And then in this case, we're gonna put in the localhost the localhost, what would you call it, IP, I guess. So we're gonna put a login and then a password, and then we are going to delete everything as I mentioned. And what we have is the beginning bracket, ending bracket, and then the beginning bracket for the web UI and the ending bracket. You need all this for it to work. So what we're going to do is save this folder, save this file, and then go back to the terminal. Then since the folder is and the .conf file is in the same location, we can run it from there. So what I'm going to do is do a PID of BT sync. It has one instance running in the on my machine already. Now this instance is the one I currently use to sync my laptop with desktop. So I'm going to leave that running. Now if you're just setting up, if you're just starting and you have one running already, you will need to kill that to avoid confusion when you try to use the web UI, since as I mentioned, it uses the same port number, so it might get confused when two instances are running and they both want to use the web UI. So what you want to do is do the kill command and then kill -9 then the PID number. So what we're going to do now is run the app by using the ./BT sync. Then we're going to do the --config, then sync sync, since I named this test, so it's going to be test.conf. So we have test.conf. Now the default on the manual is sync.conf. So if you're using the manual, most likely you name this by sync.conf. So just make sure you know the name of your files. So now we have a PID given to this instance, and we go open our Firefox and type in the 127.0.0.1. Now the reason mine isn't confused with the currently running in the background is because that one is not using web UI. The web UI section has been deleted off it, so that instance is running using the configuration file. I'm going to make a video of how to set up the configuration file later. I mentioned that already and I'm mentioning it again. So yeah, as you can see, you have the root, you have all your folders there. You generate a key, you click a folder and just click add, and you're ready to go. The next thing I'm going to show you is the folder, the storage path for the file. As you can see, all these extra file documents have been created. We have a few of them in zip, and then here's my sync log. So sync.log folder, we have the log for all the syncing I have. Now if you're using a server, this will be important for you. That will be the only way for you to monitor what is going on. So you can use VI or Nano to view that, since you won't be able to use gedit. So the next thing you have is sync data. I don't have any application that can open it, so it seems unknown. Now I have the PID file in this location also, so that's that PID file. That PID file will be similar it will have a number similar that goes with the number that will be provided by PID of BTSync. So we have that instance running, as you can see, 14484, 14484 in both locations. So that PID files, as I would try to run that instance again using the same configuration, and what's going to happen is it's going to tell me that the PID is currently locked and it can't use it. It can't run the configuration. So I type in the setup, and that's what I get. Can't. So it says can't log PID file, and then it gives you the PID number that the instance is currently running 14484, and I won't be able to use it. So that is why I said you should have that path synced to the same location. Even if you're going to run multiple instances, I don't see the reason why you would want to, because you can run multiple folders with just one configuration file. So I will show you and that would be in the configuration setup that will be posted later on. So right, I'm going back to the web UI using Firefox again. I tried this using on Chrome, but my Chrome was defective. I was having problem at the time, so I'm going to try and do it again and see if it's possible to use it on Chrome. I don't see why you shouldn't be able to, but if not, just keep using Firefox. And you can set your password and everything. One of the main difference with the web UI is once you make changes to the web UI, that changes will only run till that instance end. Once it end, you can't run the same configuration setup on the web UI any longer. So everything will be launched from the beginning again once you start from the configuration file. Since configuration file, we only have all the settings you have. So yeah, we can make changes to device's name and so forth, and you can change the listening the currently listening ports. Since we set it to use random, is that number it showed. And we go to preferences again, that shows you there. Now we're going to add a folder, and then we can see some of the features it has in monitoring that folder. So we're gonna add a folder, generate a key, and click add. Now these folders have been this setup has been deleted. All those keys created will not work except if somebody else is using it. So now we have a barcode scan that you can use for mobile devices. That's again Android, Windows Phone, iOS. All three work on this with this. And then you can make some advanced settings, which is /LAN and so forth. This will basically, these are commands, these are settings that help you with how the web UI, the program access the file from the internet. So you can check it to only sync when you are in a closed connection. So if you could set it that only every connected devices in your current house will sync, and it won't sync to anything online. So you can set it to that way. I don't see why you want to do that. It will make the whole thing useless. Now it does help with security reasons, and that's about it. And you can delete files, folders, just by clicking on the option. And that concludes the whole tutorial. Any questions or comments, put it down below. Anything that you are still confused about in setting this up, put it down below. I will be making a video strictly on setting up the configuration file, so that for people that are going to run this on a text only machine. And I'll see you next time. Have a great day.